It is Wednesday, my dudes, and of course you know what that means. It is time once again to revisit the theme park before your eyeballs, Velocity Lake, which is indeed the theme park I'm building in Planet Coaster. And in this episode, we're going to be continuing right where we left off. Last episode, of course, we built that very, very exciting and not at all boring train station, which is going to be in service to the thing we built this episode, which if you read the title and looked at the thumbnail, you will know is the hotel complex. Now, it's going to be a much more exciting building than the one we built last episode, but it is nonetheless going to be following a similar architectural theme, and this is going to be modern. It's going to be a modern design, basically. So I'm kind of going to start off with that big box shape, but I did want to have some curves because I'm very masochistic and I hate myself, because building curved structures in this game is very, very unintuitive. Like, Planet Coaster is great for building boxes, but it's very, very difficult to build anything other than that unless you want to invest huge amounts of time. But, you know, I don't really have a life, so I'm willing to invest some time. But I thought I'd start off at least with a big square, just to kind of get an idea of the footprint of this thing. So, yeah, we've built a basic shape with, like I say, that square, and then we've built this sort of round curve. It's not going to be, you know, a building completely flush with this outline. We're going to add a little wooden decking area around this curve because, hey, we've got some nice views here. You know, looking to the east, I'm trying to think of how this hotel's oriented. Looking to the east, you obviously got the views of the theme park. The immediate view, at least, well, the foreground, if we're going to be using big boy words, is dominated by the gigantic white Giga Coaster that we built a few episodes, not that long ago, put it that way. It was the most recent roller coaster we built, at least. You know, that way, and looking the other way, we've got the wonderful alpine mountains, the rivers, the lakes, all that good stuff. So we've got some great views here. It would be a shame to not use those views, as in provide people with outdoor seating to soak in those views. So that's what I'm doing here. I added this wooden decking area around that curved piece, and we're going to have some nice seating. It's going to be where a restaurant might overlook, something like that. And then we're going to build the rooms themselves. So the way I'm building this hotel is we're building it in like as one section here. And what you're seeing me build here, I'm going to take this and just paste it around the perimeter of the building. We can't use this for the curved part. That's going to be its own thing. And then the back part of the hotel is going to be slightly different as well. But most of the rooms we're going to build like this. We're going to put loads and loads of time and effort into these. Is it 3 rooms on top of each other? I can't even remember now. It was so long ago, to be fair, when it was last on screen 10 seconds ago. But, you know, we're building this selection of rooms here, and then we're going to just basically duplicate it around. Those arches, of course, will not be staying. I have said this before, but the arch piece is great because he's very, very close in size to the actual guests that will populate the park. So you can use the archer to make sure you're building things to a realistic scale. Of course, it doesn't matter a great deal for the hotel here because their guest, it will be completely non-functioning. It's just going to be a static hotel that just adds to the overall aesthetic of the theme park. But what is Planet Coaster if not just a model maker? So I'm okay with it not being a functional hotel, even though we can now build hotels in Planet Coaster. I guess I could make it functional. Like, obviously the balconies cannot be functional because they're not paths. There's no path pieces on them that guests can walk along. But you can still make the hotel functional by just adding a little lobby piece that guests can just walk into, and then we can just fill the, spoiler alert, it's going to just be a giant hollow structure. But at least we can fill in the giant hollow structure with, you know, hotel rooms, things like that, so guests can actually stay here. I haven't really thought about how functional I want this hotel to be. At the moment, I'm not really thinking much about how guests use this park because the park is still not open. It's been like over a year since I started at this point, and it's still not open. So do I get an award or something? I don't know. But it's been a while, and I don't know how long it's going to be before guests are going to be entering the park. So it's not something I've been paying too much thought to. Giving too much thought to. I'm just starting to see my curtain get brighter and brighter. Like, I have a blackout curtain in this office, but it's a very big window, and eventually the sun starts to set. Because to me, it's 4 o'clock now on a Sunday. What better way to spend a Sunday than talking to you guys about my window? Yeah, the sun starts to dip down, and it starts shining directly through my window because my window faces directly west, and the curtain is getting brighter and brighter. I'm starting to get uncomfortably warm, so I figure that I may suddenly start sounding more and more dead in this commentary because I'm gradually starting to now roast. I'm going to have a preemptive sip of water. We just nothing like a nice refreshing glass of iced water on a hot summer's day in which you can't go outside because the country is still very much on lockdown. Who knows? We might not even be in any kind of quarantine or lockdown when this goes live, because for me, it's the 26th of April, and I'm getting a lot of episodes made because, I work in healthcare. My life is pretty stressful, so I'm taking all of the opportunities I can to get as many videos made so that I can continue doing continue my weekly upload rate, even if the going gets tougher and tougher. So I'm kind of trying to be as proactive as I can in maintaining my YouTube upload schedule, which means I'm having to I'm having to record and edit weeks and weeks in advance for Planet Coaster. Kerbal Space Program, unfortunately, is such a massive time sink that there's no way that I can preemptively make loads of Kerbal videos, because it just takes such a long time to make a Kerbal video that I can only really realistically make them at one episode per week. But Planet Coaster, I've got loads of footage, because I tend to play Planet Coaster where I'll just play it 8 hours a day for like 2 weeks, and then I've just got all the footage I will ever need for the next 6 months. So I kind of in that cycle. So I've still got loads and loads of archived footage for Planet Coaster, so I could easily just spend an hour just cutting it and speeding it up and putting it into episode blocks, and then just kicking back with, like I say, my iced glass of water and just dictate these commentaries to you. And that's just a little insight into the Matt Lowne Hollywood production machine. Well, I guess it's not really Hollywood production because I'm not in Hollywood. I'm in Plymouth. So what would it be? Plymouth is a little seaside town. It's not a seaside town because there's no beach, but it's a coastal town. It's a naval port in England. It's a fairly big population, so I guess it's a city. It's a city that's near the sea in England. You see what I mean? As the sun warms, it's suddenly got very warm. I said, oh yeah, the curtain's starting to get bright. That's a sign that, it's about to get very, very hot in here. At the end of the day, I'm in a small room, foam across the walls, computer running at full whack, and I'm having to talk, which means I found out when you talk for long periods of time and you have to be very articulating with your words when you're commentating like this, you end up, drying out your throat. You end up getting very, very thirsty. It's just the perfect storm for going insane, really, if I haven't gone insane already, and a lot of you might beg to propose that argument. What was I even talking about? Oh yes, I live in Plymouth, so what would the equivalent of Hollywood be? Maybe Jana would. So basically, Jana is the name for the locals here. They're known as Janas, and no one's quite sure why. There are some theories. The best theory, and probably the correct theory, is to do with the janning ropes used in the ports. They would pull, the locals that work in the docks would manipulate these ropes, what have you, so they were known as the Janas because they are associated with the janning ropes. There is another theory that I like more, so it's the theory I choose to believe, even if my heart knows it probably isn't correct, and that's because the accent down here, it's a West Country accent, and so they have that kind of Somerset-y accent. Have you ever seen the film Hot Fuzz? People talk like that here. So there's a theory that John is quite a popular name. So when outsiders ask people what their name is, and their name is John, obviously with the accent, they don't say John, they say Jan, right? My name's Jan. You right? That's how they say it. So then the theory is that they're known as the Janas because when they say their name's John. Okay, now I say it's definitely not this. This is not the correct theory, but nonetheless, I'm still going with it regardless. I didn't make this up. I read this somewhere, and I don't think anyone would just go on the internet and intentionally tell a lie. So this may be the correct way. I don't know. So anyway, that's one. You know what I'm saying? This could be Jana Wood as the Hollywood. I mean, am I the biggest YouTuber in Plymouth? Probably. Actually, no, I don't think so. I think is this doxing now? Am I just about to dox someone? I feel like 3 Clicks Philip lives in Plymouth. He's a CS:GO. I don't play CS:GO. I famously hate CS:GO as well. It's been a real controversial statement I've made. I mean, as far as YouTube drama goes, I don't mind the drama around me being I don't like CS:GO. I'm okay with that. I don't think I've ever been involved in any other drama. Oh yeah, I did call Hazardish out for cheating in KSP, but that wasn't aimed at me. I did bring drama upon myself. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about these topics because this is just going to invoke things that I don't want my little wholesome Planet Coaster series to focus on. But yeah, I think 3 Clicks Philip lives in Plymouth. How many subscribers does he have? 3 Clicks Philip. There we go. Oh, there's a lot of suggestions on YouTube, on the Google search. The auto-complete suggestions. I don't get many. Actually, I do, because Matt Lowne is such a random name. Like, who is called? I don't know a single person called Lowne other than my family members. In fact, most of the comment sections think it rhymes with Lowne, so I know most people are not familiar with anyone who's called Lowne as well. Oh my god, he's got 895,000 subscribers. So guys, tell your friends, get Matt Lowne to 896,000 subscribers. I mean, he's probably got much more than that now this video has gone live, but, you know, I don't know. I probably should have talked about, I just something like, you know, when you just sort of snap back to reality, you know, whoops, there goes gravity. And I'm like, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I'm talking utter nonsense. And I could have talked about the construction of this hotel, which is pretty much nearly finished, in fact, or at least the basic shape of it. I didn't base it, but I looked at a few pictures of hotels and concept art for proposed hotels, and this is very similar to one that I didn't save. I have a tendency where, basically in Google Chrome, I've got a little folder, and every time I see an image or just a design or what have you, or something that I think would look good in Planet Coaster, I add it, I bookmark the page and put it in a little folder called Planet Coaster. And this folder is naturally full. Like, every time I try and just open all of the tabs at once by just middle clicking the folder icon. On Google Chrome always warns saying, warning, you're about to open 870 tabs. Are you sure? And I'm like, yes, Google, it's fine. And I always regret it. So every time, in order to try and curate the list and to try and keep it at a manageable amount of pictures, every time I'm done building something that uses an image as a reference, I just delete the image, which means I can never cite my sources. I should probably get into the habit of saving the images until the episode goes live, or at the very least, create a sister folder, and every time I use an image to base something on, I just put it in that folder and I can just refer to that. But regardless, I mean, you know, if you just Google modern hotel designs, this is very similar to a lot of those. So that's what we've got here. And we've got these little vents at the top of the rooms. And this wasn't a mistake. This is something that was actually on the hotel I based this on. These little gaps here. I don't know if it's to allow airflow or what, or if it's just an architectural design. I'm not sure. But I noticed that the top room, there was like a gap between the roof of the balcony and then the actual main roof of the hotel itself. I ain't no architect, I don't know what it's for, but I noticed it was a thing on an actual proposed hotel design, so I decided to also implement it as well. Now this is kind of the boring part in the video because I can't speed the footage as quickly, or I can't play back the footage as quickly as previously in this video because the camera is moving around so much because I have to get it all lined up quite well. So if I played it at the speed the rest of the videos were playing at, it would be very, very hard to follow what's going on, and it would be very, very sickening to watch, quite frankly. It would be very, the camera constantly moving about at breakneck speed. It's not going to be a very pleasant viewing experience. So I've had to slow down the footage here a bit, but don't worry, because my commentary, hello, it is here to save the monotony. I'm now going to give you a very interesting anecdote on smooth panelled grey roofs. I once built a building with a grey panelled roof in a video game called Planet Coaster, but we couldn't play the footage back. Very bad. Okay, this is terrible. I don't really have anything to add specifically about the actual construction of the roof, but is there anything I could have talked about with the construction of the hotel and then subsequently didn't because I was talking about... Let's just reflect. Let's take a moment of reflection to think about what on earth I've been talking about this video. I talked about how... the 3 clicks Philip has more subscribers than me. I live in Plymouth, and that people in Plymouth are called Janners, and I am effectively Jannerwood, whatever kind of, title that is. And I don't even remember anything else. I kind of just black out, like I'll hit record, and then I'll just be done. I'm like, I have no memory of anything that just happened. It's like I just black out and I panic, and it's an alter ego. The Tyler Durden just takes over. And it's just a real mess, everything. And that's it. I was about to mention it again. I was like, no, I've already mentioned this. That my room is heating up it's quite amazing how rapidly this room just bakes as soon as the sun starts pouring through the window. Like I say, I draw the curtain, and it's a blackout curtain, so it's quite good at insulating as soon as the sun starts to dip, because I hate vitamin D. Because I'm an epic gamer, but more to the point, I try and keep as much heat out because I can't keep the window open, I can't have the door open because I've got to try and minimize echo. Well, I suppose I don't need to keep the window closed, at least, to reduce echo, but I don't want any outside noises getting in, and more to the point, I don't want people walking past the house to hear this commentary and potentially leak the commentary of this episode to the public early. It would be a scandal, I'll tell you. I can't afford to have my scripts leaked. I'm an artist, but also I don't want people to think I'm an insane person, which I know is probably too far gone at this point. But I can maintain a shred of dignity to strangers who walk past my house. Damn it! And I also don't really like people knowing where I live as well if they figure out a YouTuber lives here. I used to have my silver play button hanging up in my living room. And then I was talking to my neighbour, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, people have been saying, oh yeah, a YouTuber lives next door because we've seen the silver plaque on the wall." And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't want to get doxxed, so I have to move the silver plaque and everything because I don't really like being associated with being a YouTuber." It was very embarrassing, actually. I had a patient once. I think I've told this story as well. So if you're still out there, guy whose name I won't say, and I don't think I legally can say because of confidentiality laws, but he was like, "Oh, are you a YouTuber? Are you Matt Lowne on YouTube?" And it was very, very awkward because his parents were there, and I'm like, "Hello, I'm the medical professional that will be conducting your appointment today." And then it's just, "Are you that guy that makes those wacky videos on the internet?" I'm like, we all have hobbies, right? I think I just awkwardly laughed and then moved on. So I do wish I'd handled that better, because I know a lot of people. Well, I don't know anyone actually, but I've read stories on Reddit and stuff, so they're obviously true stories, right? Where people met a celebrity and it was a total letdown. They were horrible and whatever. And I'm sure, yeah, there are probably going to be celebrities who are just arseholes in real life. But I bet there's a few people, like that guy's experience with me probably was not that positive. It's like, oh, he didn't even acknowledge me or whatever. But like, if someone comes up to me in public, I just don't know how to react. I've only been recognized a couple of times. I think I handled both of those times very badly. Just because I have a very weird sense of humor. So I think the other time I got recognized is I was at a wedding, and ironically enough, it was the uncle of the bride who came up to me in like the party the night before, who goes like, "You Matt Lowne or whatever. I recognized your face." And the first thing I said was, "Did you buy my merch?" as a joke. But then I realized that he doesn't know me, and that's kind of a rude thing to say. So I was like, it was just a joke. I'm sorry. I think I handled that one a bit better, and I like to think I've got a reputation for having a sense of humor. I'm not dead serious. So hopefully I had that one a bit better. I just don't get recognized enough, and I'm not complaining, by the way, but I don't get recognized enough to have a good system of meeting fans. I don't really like saying the word fans either because it seems very egotistical of me to claim I have fans, but whatever. People who recognize me for the things I do on the internet. I don't really know how I would handle it. Like, so maybe there are real celebrities rather than, crap munchers like me who actually are not good at people and are very rude. But I'm sure there is a fair few who repeatedly have negative experiences with fans because they just don't know how to handle themselves, because at the end of the day they're people just like me and you, and maybe they are just flawed also. This commentary got weirdly philosophical and deep. Well, either that or it was just another 10 minutes of me rambling about nonsense, but one of the two, pick one of them, and that's probably what this commentary became. Here I'm going to talk about what's going on screen for a second. Well, it's gone now, but it just happened, so it's still fresh in everyone's memories, though it is rapidly leaving everyone's memories because I'm now spending so much time opening up this statement. I deleted a few chairs before it gets too long. I deleted a few chairs from some of the balconies. I placed all of the balconies with all of loads and loads of chairs on them, because then I thought I'll place more chairs than I actually want, and then when it's all done I'll just quickly go back and just select a few chairs off each balcony and quickly delete them. That's easier than placing every single chair individually. We'll just place all of them. It's easier and quicker to delete chairs than it is to place them. So I thought we'll just fill up the balconies and we'll just delete them to make it seem a bit more natural, a bit like they've all been randomly placed, like that chair is actually an interior chair inside the hotel room, but guests have the mavericks among the guests have dragged them out onto the balcony so they can sit and enjoy a nice cold glass of whiskey on the balcony. Of course, there is no whiskey review because this is a Planet Coaster video, and to be honest, I don't know how much longer I can realistically do the whiskey reviews for, because A, the jokes can get old, B, there is only a finite number of whiskies I've tried because I'm not actually a whiskey connoisseur. I'm very much I wouldn't even consider myself an amateur whiskey drinker. I'm just a guy that likes a glass of whiskey every now and then. But none of those 2 points, valid as they are aside, the third reason and the key reason why I probably can't continue doing the whiskey reviews for much longer is because YouTube is changing the way it handles monetization. I know, YouTube changing a system that no one realized was broken. I never. In fact, actually, though, I think that's a bad time to use that phrase as a joke, because I think this actually could be something that could benefit a lot of creators. And that is, the demonetization thing has always been very nebulous. People are getting demonetized and they don't know why. But now you can actually self-audit yourself. Like when you upload a video, you press monetize, yes, and then a massive list of things appear saying, does your video have this? You can click yes or no, yes or no. And there's loads of different things like, does your video cover a sensitive issue? Like, and I'm not going to say anything as an example because this video, it can't have a sensitive issue in it because I'm gonna click no when I monetize this video. But like, does it cover any sensitive issues? Does it cover anything like drug use, which is where a whiskey review would come in because alcohol ultimately is a drug? Does it cover illegal substances? Does it cover weapons and weaponry, things like that? So there's a few things because basically, I don't know, Lego probably doesn't want to have ads on a video about guns, which is fair enough, I guess. So it just helps them kind of streamline how advertising works on YouTube, that sort of thing. I don't know if this is being rolled out to everyone or if you have to be a certain size of creator to be deemed trustworthy enough to audit yourself or whatever. But regardless, yes. Now, I'm obviously ticking no on the section about does your video, contain things like drug use or discuss drug use. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that means, because if I was reviewing coffees, then I would tick no. But caffeine is a drug, and much in the same way, alcohol is a drug, but it's a legal drug. Like, when it says drugs, does it mean, illegal drugs, or would it mean, like, because I would consider marijuana, for example, which is legal in a lot of places now, to be a drug, So where do we draw the line? Usually when people talk about alcohol, it's distinct from drugs, right? They say drugs and alcohol. By the way, it's a POV. I decided to fix some of the missing supports on this coaster. I thought, you know what? It's been a while since the viewers got to see this coaster, and the views have changed quite significantly since you last had the chance to ride it. So I thought I'd break up this video just here by putting a little POV in it. Anyway, back to my ramblings. I feel like I just started work on this coaster and never even addressed it because I was talking about YouTube monetization. I was talking about whiskey review. I was talking about something that was not relevant to the video, is the long and short of it. Anyway, that's the little POV of this right here. But yeah, I feel like I've now kind of messed up my ability to monetize this video because I've mentioned all of these things. But again, I feel like me discussing that drugs exist is not a sign of me, discussing drugs, if that makes sense. I don't know if my whiskey reviews will come off in the same way. Like, it's not an illegal substance, and a lot of the time, like a lot of people, they classify drugs and alcohol. They say drugs and alcohol, right? So it's often seen as a distinct thing. And I'm not glorifying drinking whiskey, and it's clearly a joke as well. Like, it's not the focus of the video. So I'm hoping all of those things aside will be fine. But maybe going forward, I'll have to change tact. Like, what's a thing that is not drugs or alcohol, but is something that shouldn't be consumed by children under the age of 13? And that's why going forward, I'm going to start a pornography review series. No, I'm sure that would probably not be allowed either. So I was thinking maybe an energy drink review series. I do like a good energy drink. Like when I'm in the off license, I always pick up a little can of an energy drink if I've never had that before. I've never seen that can before. I'm going to buy that and drink it. And it always tastes the same. But, I could probably work a little series into that. Like I've probably tasted a good 20 different energy drinks at this point. So that's half a year's worth of content right there. Give or take a few weeks. Well, just take a few weeks. So I don't know what's going to happen with the whiskey review series going forward. I might do it every now and then as a joke, but I think I might have to start tapering off a bit. Here you can see me, by the way, also. I was building a little service road around the perimeter of the park, which I'm going to leave a shot of, lingering here, like the whole park so far. There's Velocity Lake, and I feel like I don't show enough of Velocity Lake, like as an overview. So this is the overview here, and you can see I've built that little tarmac path around there. So that's going to go all the way around the park so that, I don't know, emergency crews or maintenance crews can quickly get to any sector really, really easily. So that's why I built that. And that's it. That's the video, I guess. So I'm going to just fade off to an end screen. On the left-hand side is a link to the full Velocity Lake playlist, and on the right-hand side is a video chosen for you by YouTube's recommendation algorithm. In the description, you'll find links to Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Instagram, merchandise, all that good stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, my dudes.